So we have two sides on a chit, playing piece.
Right.
You got your first side and your spent side.
Okay.
And the markings are, the first number is firepower, and the middle one is defense, and the last one is movement.
Okay.
And when you're on your spent side, the only thing you have is defense. You can't attack when you're spent.
Okay.
So there's two ways to get on the spent side. One way is you actually perform your movements, your actions, and you automatically go to the spent side once you've completed your actions for that area. So there's going to be a little bit of strategy in there as to who goes first and who doesn't want to go first.
Okay.
Because once you're spent, you're pretty much sitting duck. Now, once the turn's over, then everybody flips back over to their fresh side, right?
Okay.
The other way you can be spent is if you take damage.
Okay.
If you take too much damage, you go spent, and then you get removed from the game.
Okay.
Right? So the Soviets, they have to be a little more observant of what division they're from, because other than a few single straggler units, which I think those units are, their NATO icon is in white, I believe. They're just a standalone. They don't have any other divisions or any more units in that division. But when you're in an area, you can use those little stragglers, but anybody else you use has to all be from the same division.
Okay.
Let's see, what else?
So you're saying that I can't do group moves? I have to use individual moves?
You can, but I can't. Because the Soviets are so aware of the town of Stalingrad, they can do movements within an area, and the division doesn't even matter to you.
Okay.
It only matters to the Germans.
Okay.
So you ignore it when you're playing the Russians.
Okay. It looks like most of your guys are pretty much grouped by.
Okay. So each of the little playing pieces, if you see off to the left, they've got a letter with a circle. That's the area where you set up in. Okay. And if you scroll down.
A letter with a circle?
Yeah.
Is that the defensive area, or is that defense of the area?
It's right above your firepower. On every one of your chits, it's on the
okay,
the map.
I see what you're talking about. Okay.
So that tells you where you start the game. That's where your initial setup area is.
Okay.
All right. So you don't even have to look at something to see how to set it up. You just look at the playing piece, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
Now, if you go all the way down to the lower right-hand corner,
right?
When you see the units are stacked.
Yep. And I see on the right-hand side, each one has a turn where they come in. Turn one with the one circle.
Yeah, I don't know why they chose to stack this, because see, there's information. See, how do I look underneath this thing?
Well, at the top there's a
I
world.
can peek.
At the very top of the vassal modules, there's a picture of the world. You can click on that, and that'll take all the units off the board.
Oh, okay. So I did peek. How do I unpeek?
Right-click on it again.
Yeah.
And select peeking.
It's not going back to where it was.
So you peek.
Okay, I guess I just moved it. All right. So turn all your units off, and all right, let me go back down to that corner. Actually, I'm going to turn the units back on here. You see that some of the units that are down on the bottom,
Right.
that are on the turn track. Instead of a black circle with a letter, they have a red circle with a number.
Okay.
These are reinforcements, and that's the turn that those reinforcements come onto the map.
All right, no problem.
Okay. Now, go ahead and turn all the pieces off.
Now, a quick question.
Yeah.
Where do they come in?
They can come in any area that you have control of. We'll go over that.
Okay. Now, when you said turn the pieces off, what did you mean?
Go up there and click the world so we can look at the turn track.
Okay. I clicked mine off. It doesn't click off here, so. Okay.
So you have the turn track, but you also see that you have 3 Soviet and 6 German. Those are the number of cards that you get to draw that turn.
Okay.
Or how many cards you get to have in your hand, right? And also in turn 3, I got to verify this, but I'm pretty sure it's turn 3, where turn 3 is a darker brown color.
Yep.
There are, let's see, if I turn the units back on, the Germans have units that are black.
Yep.
You see those?
Yep, those are all over the board there. And they get to fight another battle, right?
Not the gray units, but like the black units that are in area Y.
Right.
In fact, that seems to be the only area that I see black units is area Y.
Okay.
Oh no, there's some in S too. Those units have to leave the game in turn 3 to fight some other fight somewhere. You don't know where it is, you just have to observe the fact that they have to leave the game.
Okay.
Now, if some of those units get eliminated, then you have to supplement like units that were eliminated from the black units with your other units that the Germans do at that turn 3.
Wow.
So you have to have X number of units leave the game at turn 3.
Okay.
Whether the black ones are irregular units.
Alright, sounds good.
And I think that's pretty much it as far as the turns go. Alright. Let's see. So, you'll see the control markers that are out there. This is how the game starts with initial control, right?
Yep.
Now, here's the way that we're going to have, this is our first time through, so our victory conditions are going to be a little bit off, because I'm supposed to predict at the beginning of the game, you see all of the area units, or all of the areas that line the Volga River at the bottom? They're all +3s?
Yes. Yes.
No, I can't hear you. You're too faint.
How about
The +3 areas that align the Volga River.
Right.
Okay, so at the beginning of the game, me and you would have bid on how many areas we could keep, and then that's how you decide who plays the game. But anyway, so let's look at, charts and boxes. Alright, so if you come over on the game map, and you go over to the bottom left.
Okay.
Alright, so we have an eliminated unit box. That's where all the destroyed units are placed. And then we each have our own tactical card deck.
Okay.
German and Soviet.
Now to use the cards in the vassal module, you got to click up top on the little card icon, and then if you look at the very top again, you should have a German symbol with a cross on it. You can click on that. That's where you store your cards. Mine's stored inside the Russian window, so you can't see my cards.
Okay. And alright, so setup is